Hope you're doing well. Here we are, 2023. We just passed January, which I like to call Q5. And I think we're gung-ho into 2023. So really want to make you aware of some challenges I know that you as an individual broker, a boutique broker, a broker at a large agency, these challenges are all the same. And I believe that you all have a common goal. And first of all, your goal is revenue growth. Everyone needs to grow their book of business, whether it's with new business or a combination of organic growth. Now, I believe the challenge for everyone across the boards that has these same goals is the fact that we are in a recession and the economy just isn't doing that well. Simultaneously, the cost of insurance still keeps rising, and there's a lot of companies that are actually struggling financially to stay open, to keep the amount of employees employed that they have, and sometimes to even keep the current health plan in place. So I believe one of the major challenges is going to be you keeping your book of business from organically shrinking. How's that going to happen? Well, you've got companies that if they lay off employees, it's really simple. If you had 100 employees paying for a health plan and now you have 40, you just took a haircut financially because only 40 people are paying a premium, which you get commission on. So it's really simple concept to know that right now I think there's over 800,000 Americans that have been laid off so far, and we're only in mid-February right now. So the trend is showing that if you're staying stagnant and you're not doing anything to grow, you're going to organically shrink. And that's just due to the fact that so many companies are having layoffs. A lot of companies are finding out if they can even close their doors, and then they're really questioning the current plan they have in place. So you really need to have options and answers, and you got to kind of put your industry hat on and start learning about what's current and what's out there. I'd like to say, I'm not in quite the corporate machine over here at Evolve Benefits. We're not a super large company, but I know that a lot of agencies, you run like a corporate company, as you should be. And with that, if you're a broker, AKA producer, you're expected to grow your book of business, whether we're in a recession or not. So, if you don't grow, you're going to shrink due to downsizing. And, I'd like to really just keep pressing the MEC conversation onto you. That's minimum essential coverage. There are a lot of companies that are going to need to scale down a little bit and start really putting their base plan contributions in a MEC plan and offering the major medical plan as a buy-up. And so I can talk to you about strategies with certain large group carriers that actually look at my MEC as a valid waiver. And we could talk about putting a company on a 3-year plan. Got a wonderful strategy I can share with you that's worked many times. But, aside from that, I know this: if you don't know about MEC, chances are you're not going to talk about it. If it's something that you don't believe that you're strong in, you're already going to feel like, hey, I don't want to go in front of my client and talk about something that I don't know, because if they ask me a question, I might not be able to answer it. And I understand how that feels. A MEC plan itself, it's the easiest plan design to understand. It's literally just the top half of a major medical plan. It's just missing the hospitalization. It's got very robust acute services, but more importantly, a lot of the conversation is geared more towards the compliance side, penalty A avoidance, penalty B avoidance, and even just penalty B mitigation. So that's the part of the conversation I believe you need to get familiar with. And what I'm going to do in this video is just kind of go over the basics of MEC, just to plant the seeds in your head, because again, every single person that is a broker, you are in for a huge challenge this year. So you're going to organically shrink. So you need to win business. You also need to grow organically, and you need some strategies that are different from the same thing everybody else is coming out with, okay? So first of all, minimum essential coverage plans, they normally have about 10 basic coverages in there. Plans go from basic all the way to robust. So first of all, if you're talking about my plan, it's on a national PPO network. On the basic MEC, you're going to get unlimited telemedicine, and you're going to get in-person doctor visits to see just about any doctor you want, because this network is very robust. We also have another robust network that we can pivot to in case we're working with a group like I am right now that's in a bit of a more rural area. We've got another network that seems to fit that, and we can always switch networks, so we're very nimble in that way. MECs also cover in-person doctor visits for primary care, specialists, urgent care, lab, x-ray, pharmaceutical. There's even mental health benefits that are achieved via telemedicine. And we are now rolling out a very robust basic MEC plan that's going to come with a high-level teledoc service that has more services than you're used to seeing in a telemedicine service. So stay tuned for some education on that. But, at its core, a minimum essential coverage plan is really just a robust acute services plan. It's missing the hospitalization. If you caught my video last week or the week before, I did one on the benefits of offering a hospital indemnity plan with a MEC plan. And you can keep that plan under $180, but still give that member their acute services and at least some reimbursements if they need hospital services. And of course, those indemnity plans are on a PPO network as well. So they're going to receive a heavy discount on their invoice. It's going to be a better looking invoice than if they went there off the street and they had no coverage at all, or they weren't in there on negotiated rates with the PPO network. So that's just kind of the basic on the MEC plan. I really do encourage you to reach out to me. I'm all over LinkedIn. I make myself very easy to get a hold of. I think I do a good job of reaching out to you, but if we haven't connected yet, please reach out. I always make myself available. Who's a good fit for a MEC plan? Well, first of all, larger employers that have low-income employees, that's the first and foremost, I would say, the greatest fit. Now, ethically, I would never offer a MEC plan to the full-timers that we know can afford a major medical plan. I would first do that offering, and once everyone's enrolled and you've collected the waivers, whoever waived off that large group plan, then you can bring them over to the enrollment meeting with the part-timers, the seasonal, the variable hour employees, and offer MEC to everybody at that time. So it's really geared towards part-time, seasonal, variable hour. But I'd like to say that after you've collected the waivers and we know an employee is not going to enroll on that major medical plan, then I think it's ethical to offer the MEC plan. That way you're not getting in a pinch with your carrier where they're thinking that you're causing even though it's really not an adverse selection scenario because I'm not a major medical plan, it can be looked at that way. So you want to give that carrier their shot for the full-timers, and then again, make sure you can offer something to those that just couldn't afford that plan. I'll say this again like I did in the beginning of the video. We are in a recession. The economy's in bad shape. You're going to get a lot more people not enrolling even on that bronze major medical plan that you're offering. These large employers, they're suffering. We can write our MEC plans down to 10, so we're not just for large groups, but it's just, it's a better way to round out a large group. So now you're not only insuring the 12 people out of the 170 that are employed at that company. Now you can keep those 12 people insured, but now you can cast a net over everybody and get them affordable access to care. There's large employers that are subject to ACA requirements, and that's an employer that has 50 or more full-time equivalents. Doesn't necessarily have to be full-time employees. It could be a combination of full-timers and then a bunch of part-timers where you run all their hours through a FTE calculator and you find out you have X amount of FTEs. You add that to the full-timers, and if that number is 50 or more, that group is an applicable large employer. They're subject to ACA filing and reporting, and you should definitely have a conversation with me so I can show you how to get out ahead of that so you don't get displaced by the many brokers who are getting really good at this conversation. I'm starting to become real impressed by some of the brokers we started, and they didn't really know much about the conversation, the positioning, and really even how to bring it up. And now, they almost sound exactly like me, and I love that. In fact, they don't really even call me anymore asking for help on a sales call. I'll help them at any time and I'll help you, but it's just nice to see people grow and also grow their revenue because they chose to learn how to have a conversation. And then again, there's a lot of companies that are looking to save money because they just can't afford the plan you have in place right now. Please get to know the MEC. You might have to scale down and make the baseline offering my plan and then make everything else a buy-up. That way you don't lose out on the business altogether. I've shown this slide before, but I think it really fits for this conversation here. These are the industries that, when I look at our data and I run a report on all the industries, the SIC codes that we work with, this here is probably where we fit the best. The plan that we represent is called SBMA. That stands for Staffing, Benefits, Management, and Associates. So our original book of business was serving the very underserved staffing industry. We do a very good job with them, but we started seeing that there's other companies out there that just have low income employees and they can't afford a health plan. So as you can see here, we have plenty of opportunities. I call this the deep blue ocean. Please get out of the bloody red ocean going after the same groups that a million other people are going after. Start looking at some of these groups. There's not a lot of competition over here, and I can actually show you where to look and show you how to even tee up these kinds of conversations. Want to give you a bit of an example here. This is a resource that's found on my website, evolvebenefits.com. Click the resources tab and you'll run into this calculator. I did an example of a group that has 100 full-time equivalents, and we know that the ACA gives you credit for 30 of those employees as far as the penalties go. So if a group's going to be penalized, this group would only be penalized on 70, which is still a big number, but you get a 30 man credit or a 30 employee credit. So now I've got it at 70. So, both of these columns show what it's like if you do nothing or what it's like if you choose to offer and get these folks enrolled on a MEC. So if you do nothing with a company this size, you're looking at a $217,000 penalty because they're getting penalized almost $15,000 a month. You add the tax effect on that, it's looking more like $18,000 a month. So that's usually this year in 2023, that's going to be $2,880 per employee per month. That's what the fine's going to be when a company finds this applicable large employer out of compliance, knowing that they haven't offered their employees a MEC. Or if you want to do something about it, get out ahead of something like this, you don't want to be the broker of record and have this happen on your watch. I promise you, those aren't fun conversations to have. You could put those employees on a $45 MEC plan. That's my lowest cost MEC plan right now. And you could save them a ton of money. They're actually going to spend an annual cost of just under $30,000 instead of $217,000 in penalties. That's a difference of $187,000 and then some. So this is an easy scenario you can use. Again, that's evolvebenefits.com. Click the resources tab. Get on this calendar and start analyzing your groups and look at the amount of FTEs that you have and see what you come up with. We're also going to be very soon, look out for an FTE calculator. We're going to have that available on our website. Right now we don't, but if you have a general agency in your area, most general agencies have an FTE calculator on their website. So for now, you can use that, or you can just look up the formula and do it manually, or call me or shoot me an email. Give me the numbers. I'll do the formula for you and send you the results. No problem. So anyway, I hope this has been a bit of an eye-opener for you. We are in a recession. The economy is just not doing well. The cost of insurance is not getting any lower. And there are tons of different types of entities calling on your groups. It's not just the broker down the street. It's the payroll companies that are now doing benefits. It's some of the voluntary benefit companies that secretly told their people, hey, you know what? Start growing a book of business. You can be brokers now. It's the digital agencies that are approaching kind of more of a tech fashion, getting in front of your contacts at your groups through certain softwares and things that they know they can use to get in front of them while they're on their computer. Then, of course, you have these HRIS type platforms that develop a software that's so user-friendly for that HR person at your group that now that they've had a demo and they see what it can do, they really need to have that software. That HRIS company says, hey, I'm glad you like the software. We're going to give it to you for free. We just require a broker of record on your benefits because everything runs so much better when we're the broker of record. Everyone's loyal until they're not. If you weren't the one to bring that HR person that solution and make their life easier, it's nothing personal. They're going to sign that broker of record letter. It happens all day, every day. A ton of you are probably very angry right now because it's happened to you. Back when I was a broker, when a payroll company BOR'd me, it made me very angry. And I wanted to figure out how to not let that happen again. So hopefully you can understand that's what we're here to do. We're here to help you be more valuable than you already are to your groups. We're helping you get out ahead of the curve in this recession, in this economy. We're helping you understand these ACA compliance conversations. I mean, we're just helping